Hello everyone, this is YouTuber and mangaka Boichi. It's column time again. I mentioned this in previous columns. What is good about a country's manga industry, or the comics or toon business? Why is creating a manga industry important? Because it can supply IP that strengthens a country's cultural industry. That's the power of manga and comics. I said it is very important. I'd also like to introduce you to a wonderful global manga platform story from Saudi Arabia. Imagine how great it would be to not only create a manga platform, but to go further and establish a manga industry in Saudi Arabia. I've told you stories like this. The things I just mentioned include Japanese manga artists and publishers. What matters to Japanese mangaka if a manga platform is established overseas? This is a topic in today's video. What are the benefits for mangaka like me in the Japanese manga industry? It doesn't matter? Of course, it's matter. It's very good for creators working in Japan like me. This is the point of today's topic. An article about Saudi Arabia's manga platform mentioned this. A Saudi Arabian company conducted a study and found that 90% of readers worldwide are reading manga from piracy manga sites. I don't want to believe it, but I think so too. It may be precisely 90% or more. It would be nice to crack down on those sites, but crackdowns alone do not solve the problem. Crackdowns cannot be the ultimate solution to combating piracy. Let's think about it. We need to crack down on it by mobilizing the country's public power. What is the vital reason for a government crackdown on piracy manga sites? Why should they spend time, money, and workforce cracking down on overseas copyrighted works? They actually don't care, and there's no reason to do that. If so, do they crack down on those sites because they love and respect Japan and Japanese culture? Even if they love Japan and Japanese culture, do they need to crack down on it? Is that simple? Wouldn't you think like this? How can public authorities actively crack down on piracy manga sites? But what if there is a legal manga platform that forms a market here and pays taxes to the country? There is an apparent reason to crack down on piracy manga sites. If you create a good and affordable manga platform in your country, readers would pay to read it. This is cultural consumption. It's about enjoying pop culture. It's much more fun to pay for leisure activities. And if you like comics and manga, anyone who likes culture should do that. However, the price must have to be reasonable. And there is a better way to crack down more effectively. It should showcase your manga. It's not just about uploading popular Japanese manga titles. Suppose there is a precious manga from your country. Should they not protect their work? Through the global manga platform, the creators from your country can work globally. So, the government must crack down on piracy manga sites to protect their country's intellectual property. That's what I want to talk about. So, of course, a global platform is created. There are creators and a newborn manga industry in that country. If it can be active on a global platform, it is also suitable for the Japanese manga industry. But there's something more substantial. So before I talk about that, let me discuss the movie industry as an example. Suddenly, a thought occurred to me. These days, while thinking about this and that, I often get sparks of new ideas. The Hollywood. The markets where Hollywood movies are huge hits. The markets where Hollywood movies make a lot of money. The UK, France, Japan, Korea, and China. I thought, hey, these countries seem to have something in common. What is that commonality? These countries' film industries are active. If your country's film industry develops and produces many local films, do you mainly watch films from your country instead of American movies? Some people might do that. Usually, people watch movies from their country, Hollywood, and foreign movies together. That's because of what it means to like to watch movies. It's a natural phenomenon. As the domestic film industry develops, the theater industry also becomes more active. People work hard to promote movies in that country, and various things develop together. Then Hollywood movies will sell more. They will sell well at a reasonable price and profit distribution will be good. Of course, pay the taxes as well. The movie companies and film distributors must pay taxes to that country well. They must find ways to increase the country's tax revenue. So I don't think it's not a coincidence. Only when a country's film industry develops will people in that country watch more Hollywood movies. Over the past 10 years, the company that has operated and handled itself the smartest in the content business is Netflix. Even today, many people study Netflix's success story. Japanese publishers, Korean webtoon companies also talk a lot about Netflix. When I meet people in the industry, we often discuss Netflix a lot. So what is Netflix doing? What is the core of Netflix's service? What should Netflix do when it enters a new overseas market? You like this? Oh, movies are a beautiful part of American culture. We want to promote the beautiful American culture in your country. So we want to dominate your country's cultural industry. Surrender now? They don't do that, right? So what do? I know you already know the answer. They say they will invest in that country's film industry and then enter their market. And they plan actually to invest and develop it. And what happens next? The people, the government, the media welcomes it. When film content from that country is distributed globally through Netflix, the creators of that country will work hard to create all of Netflix's works. Netflix has American works as well as works from other countries. The best way to make such Netflix content widely viewed in that country is to promote and develop that country's film industry through Netflix. Now think about this again. Countries where all Japanese manga titles are available and sell well, or countries where only popular titles sell well in their market. Let's think about the countries that are selling well now or have sold well in the past. France, the US, Italy, and Korea. What do these countries have in common? Their manga industry has evolved. Is this only a coincidence? I don't think so, because the manga market is developing. So they also read a lot of Japanese manga. Now let's put all these puzzles together. We talked about movies, and the story about Netflix's strategy. The countries where comics developed also had a large Japanese manga market. Then, what I talked about from the beginning. In this reality, where the majority of readers around the world are reading piracy manga sites, if we create a global manga platform, it can be solved. But how can we solve it better? Let's connect all of these pieces together. There is a suitable solution. If the Japanese manga industry wants to sell a lot of Japanese manga to overseas, if they really want to sell a lot, the Japanese manga industry must do its best to create a manga industry for overseas. It is a present box from the Japanese manga industry that gave birth to that country's manga industry. To tell you more, this applies same to the Korean webtoon industry too. Many people will read a lot of webtoons and want to be webtoon artists. If the webtoon industry creates a comics industry, the overseas and service comics on a global platform, the overseas market will actively read new manga titles and use the webtoon platform. Piracy manga sites will also be cracked down on hard, and manga will become more enjoyable. Of course, they have a chance to read more Japanese manga and Korean webtoons. That is why I believe the birth of the global manga industry is an excellent gift to Japanese manga. That's the dream I envisioned, how it will benefit everyone in our community, because I've been thinking about these things. Before I finish the comment, let's think about the North American comics market at last. The North American comics market has grown significantly over the past few years. I don't have data from last year, but I think the North American comics market was worth about $1 billion last year. Sorry if I'm wrong. Although $1 billion is a huge market, I think it can grow incomparably bigger. The North American comics market can grow to at least $10 billion US. Yes, at least 10 billion. This means it can grow much bigger. If the market grows to over 10 billion, from the perspective of a mangaka working in Japan like me, the profits will be greater than the profits earned in Japan. It means that greater profits can be made in North America. This is a very good thing for Japanese mangaka and Japanese publishers. It's such a good thing. What must be done to create a North American manga comics market worth over 10 billion? My conclusion is this. More than 10,000 mangaka eligible for serialization must have been born in North America. If a strong comics industry in North America is born, when more comics and manga artists are born and become more active, the North American comics market will grow. To summarize, it is like this. A huge comics market is born in North America. If Japanese mangaka and publishers want to earn more profits in North America than they currently earn, there must be a strong comics platform in North America. They must provide an excellent and advanced service at a reasonable price. Of course, North American publishing also needs to develop further. Next, the North American comics industry should be born, and many creators should work on that platform. More than 10,000 creators. 10,000 is not a huge number. Digital platforms can retain a surprising number of authors if revenue distribution is good. They can maintain a large number of authors and titles. A few years ago, I looked at the data from South Korea. Korea has a population of 50 million, and they publish 7,000 serial webtoon titles a year. In terms of the North American population, 10,000 creators are a small number. There could be a lot more. It would be great if new jobs were created. This is fantastic. Now, if that happens, even if we only think about North America, wouldn't it be great to imagine something like that happening? It would be a great gift for everyone. North American comics readers, aspiring comics and manga artists, the Japanese manga industry. I would love to see that happens. And for Saudi Arabia, they are creating a global comics platform. It's good for Saudi Arabia too. Won't something amazing happen for all of us? That is the story today I like to share with you. If manga industries around the world were born, it would be a great gift for the Japanese comics industry as well. Thank you for watching.